Script, 5 mistakes to avoid in your 20s. Opening scene, emotional hook and teaser. Background music, dramatic yet uplifting. Visual, a young person sitting in front of their laptop, looking overwhelmed by bills and financial statements. Narration, in a calm but authoritative tone. Your 20s are a time of freedom, self-discovery, and endless possibilities, but also a time when one wrong step could cost you years of regret. Do you want to spend your 30s cleaning up the mess you made in your 20s? Or do you want to set yourself up for a life of wealth, independence, and peace of mind? Stay with me because mistake number 5 will shock you. It's the one that could ruin your financial future forever. Pause for 1 to 2 seconds. Switch to a lighter tone. Let's make sure that doesn't happen, shall we? Grab a notebook and let's talk about the 5 biggest mistakes to avoid in your 20s so you don't just survive, but thrive. Act 1. The setup. Mistake number 1. Background music, energetic and motivating. Visual, a calendar flipping through months rapidly. Narration. Mistake number 1. Ignoring the power of time. You've heard the phrase, time is money, right? Well, whoever said that seriously underestimated the value of time. Visual of 2 individuals, one investing early, another delaying. Their wealth charts diverge dramatically. When you're 20, time is your secret weapon. Just starting to save $5 a day can make you a millionaire by retirement. Wait until your 30s? You'll need 3 times as much just to catch up. Think of it this way. Are you planting seeds for an orchard or waiting until you're starving to start farming? Humorous interjection. Speaking of farming, do you really need a $500 indoor plant collection? Your money tree might actually be that savings account you forgot to open. Transition, cliffhanger. But what's the point of saving if you're unknowingly sabotaging yourself? That brings us to mistake number 2. Act 2. The confrontation mistake, number 2. Falling into the debt trap. Visual, flashy advertisements, credit cards being swiped repeatedly. Narration. Credit cards feel like magic, don't they? Swipe now, worry later. But here's the harsh truth. Debt in your 20s is like quicksand. You think you're fine until you realize you're sinking fast. Those interest rates, they're designed to keep you paying for years. Emotional trigger, fear. Imagine this. You're 25, paying off a $2,000 balance, thinking it's no big deal. But at 20% interest, by the time you're done, you'll have paid nearly double. That's money you could have invested, growing into tens of thousands by your 40s. Pattern interrupt. Question. So, let me ask you, are those designer shoes really worth sacrificing your future vacation to Bali? Or, I don't know, your dream house? Transition. Speaking of investments, let's talk about mistake number 3, one that could rob you of the wealth-building opportunity of a lifetime. Mistake number 3, neglecting to invest in yourself. Visual. A young person scrolling through social media instead of reading or taking an online course. Narration. Here's a question for you. Would you hire someone who hasn't learned a new skill in 5 years? Exactly. So why would the world reward you if you stop investing in yourself? Emotional trigger. Excitement. Your 20s are the perfect time to build skills that pay dividends forever. Whether it's coding, public speaking, or starting a side hustle, every hour you invest now compounds into opportunities later. Humorous comment. And no, learning how to perfectly brew coffee doesn't count. Unless you're opening a cafe, then by all means go for it. Transition, cliffhanger. But what happens when you do start earning more? Many fall into mistake number 4. And this one's a silent killer. Mistake number 4, lifestyle inflation. Visual, a young professional upgrading to a luxury car after their first big paycheck. Narration. Here's the trap. You get a raise, and suddenly your expenses rise to match your income. New phone, new car, weekend getaways, sound familiar? Emotional trigger, fear. This cycle of earn more, spend more keeps you on a hamster wheel, no matter how much you make. Imagine earning six figures but still living paycheck to paycheck. It's more common than you think. Pattern interrupt. Humor. Because let's be honest, do you really need a latte with gold flakes in it? Spoiler alert, it tastes the same as regular coffee. Transition. But all this saving and investing won't matter if you fall victim to the biggest mistake of them all. Act 3. The resolution mistake. Number 5. Not having a vision. Visual. A young person sitting aimlessly, overwhelmed by options. Narration. Most people in their 20s drift through life without a clear vision. They chase trends, live day by day, and hope for the best. But hope isn't a strategy. Emotional trigger, urgency. If you don't set goals now, specific measurable goals, you